Greetings and welcome to the Introduction to Astronomy. In this video, I am going to walk you through the setup of my course on Brightspace, which is the course management system used. So this video is really intended for students taking my class to kind of show how it is set up and how you go about navigating and following through on the course. So you'll see, first of all, that I have a navigation bar up here, which has many of the main things that you need right at the beginning here. The content will really access everything that you need to be able to complete the course. All of your lectures and assignments are there. You have the grades link, which has, as you might expect, your grades. And many people find the class progress useful, as it is a way to be able to follow along and to review feedback on previous assignments. So we can go ahead and take a look. Let's take a closer look at the content here and go into that. And as we look at the content, we will see the setup here is that everything is divided into lessons. And in fact, there are 8 lessons in the course for the regular section. There's also a practice lesson here that we can see. And what we want to look at first is the introduction and the syllabus here. That's really where you want to get started. So we can open that up and we will see that there are different folders. This has the course navigation, which is where you hopefully found this video, and as well as the course syllabus, some important contacts, various different links that you can use to be able to help you get started in the course. Now it also has within it some of the general assignments that we will be doing over the course of the semester. So we will be doing article reviews and several different types of observations. You can access the information for those here now. I will give more information and additional information later on, but this gives, for example, the assignment sheet, an explanation of it, and a list of articles that you can use for the assignment. And the same thing with the solar project or this moon observations. Math help is, again, some math that the type that I use in the course. There's not a whole lot, but we do use a little bit, and it's so useful sometimes to be able to review that. And then once you're done, at the end of the lesson, you complete the syllabus checklist. That just acknowledges various course policies and allows you to move on to the next lesson. Now, as we close that up, you can actually look that we have the practice lesson, which is you're welcome to use or not use as you choose. It has practice lecture materials, discussions, and assignments so that you can go about doing all of that. If you complete everything, it releases this practice assignment that allows you to get 5 points extra credit. So if you go ahead and do it, you may as well complete all of it and get those few extra points. The practice lesson is only available the first week of class. Now then we start on our regular lesson. So let's take a look at one of those, and essentially they're all the same. So we're really only going to look at lesson 1 here, but each of them is divided up the same way. You will see that there is a section for lecture materials, a section for discussions, and a section for assignments. So everything you need is here. You don't need to go searching for anything. If you want to see your lecture materials for the week, this will have, for example, your readings and lecture slides and videos. So you have it. How do you learn the best? Well, you can decide. You can just do the reading. You can go through my lecture slides. You can watch the videos. You can do any combination of those that will help you to best understand the material. Now, under the discussions, we can take a look. There are several different things for discussions. And under discussions, there's several different things here. There is always a photo of the day discussion in each lesson that you will pick out one of the photos from the website that I choose. You'll have your discussion prompts for the discussion. There's 3 to choose from, and you pick out that when you do your graded discussion for the week. I have the class announcements here, anything that I post as announcements. And if you have questions, there is a discussion board where you can post questions for me or for your classmates. And then off topic, just for anything else you might want to discuss. And then finally, we have the assignments. Now, the assignments that you actually do will vary from week to week. But there are a number of different things that we will do. There will be a lab each week. So we have one lab here. Labs are divided into multiple parts here. This is the instructions is the first one. So when you click on that, it will open up the lab instructions here. And we'll show you those so you can take a look at the lab instructions. It will give you what you need to do. It'll give you various links that you need to use to be able to access and complete this. You will then complete the lab worksheet, and then there is a lab quiz. Now, this is set up over a 2-week block. So, lesson 1 lasts 2 weeks. During the first week, you should be working on the lab and submitting the lab worksheet. And there is a drop box for you to submit that. So the worksheet is right here that you can access. So you can access the worksheet as you see here. You would then complete that, submit it to me by the end of the first week of the block. I will then review it and give you feedback so you can follow up and look at that again before you submit it with the lab quiz. So you have 2 weeks to work on the lab. You want to really spend the first week learning the simulator and completing your worksheet. And then the second week, you'll be doing the lab quiz once you've received feedback. Other assignments can be various things. As we saw, there's a discussion each week. And then you may be submitting observing assignments. In this case, you're submitting solar observations that you've made, and you'll want to review what I've given you there for submitting solar observations. In addition, the first week, there is an extra credit assignment that gives you a chance to earn a few extra credit points. But it's essentially the same each week, so we can go ahead and take a quick look at one of the other lessons. And what you'll really see is that everything is the same. Let's take a look at lesson 2 here. Again, the structure is exactly the same. Lecture materials there for you. You have discussions, and there is your graded discussion information for the week. Everything else will pretty much be the same. And the assignments. Now in this case, again, we have a lab, but the observations are different, and there's an extra credit homework assignment that is available in this lesson. So the assignments will be different, but the structure is exactly the same, and you need not go anywhere other than that content link. The only thing that you'd want to go out of there for is to be able to access your grades, for example. You can click on the grades link. Or if you want to go and review your progress in the class, you can use the class progress link. But you don't really need much of the other materials here. Now, under general links, if you want to go directly to things like discussions, drop boxes, or quizzes, you can ignore those top 3 as those are for the instructor. They won't show up on the student side, but you can actually see those and access them directly from there. And then you continue that. We'll do a 2-week block on lesson 1, and then we'll move on to lesson 2 and continue that through the entire semester. And that will allow you to get through everything, but I think that the 2-week block will work out very well for giving you a little bit more time and a little bit more flexibility in completing things. So essentially, the first week is a good time to concentrate on learning the simulator, going through the lecture material, and examining that, looking at the lectures and working on the simulator, working on your discussion. Your discussion is due the first week as well. So you complete your discussion and start on the lab the first week. Then any other assignments you can work on over the rest of the class. So you have a little bit more flexibility instead of having everything just confined into a single week. But as you go through, you'll see all of the others there. Each one will become available up to 1 week early. If you're trying to work a little bit ahead, you can do it up to 1 week in my class. You can't go any farther than that. It will not let you work through the whole class until you get to that point. So you can't just jump ahead and try to do everything at once or all the labs at once. You have to do them as they're scheduled. So we'll go back to the course home here, and we will also just kind of note here, it will tell you always up here what lesson we're working on. I update that every Monday as the new lesson starts. Any updates that you have, so new things that have been graded, would show up here. News and announcements, I post those on the discussion board, but I also post them in the news feed here. And your calendar will show coming up with what's coming up due and when it is due. So I hope that's given you a little bit better of an idea of how to go about navigating the course. Of course, feel free to always reach out to me if there are ever any questions. So until next time, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.